So for BBC Worldwide, it's interesting because we sit pretty much at the end of the value chain. What we do is we are a premium content distributor. And so our interest is really looking at once the infrastructure and the players either in the digital DTT space or in the OTT space or even the mobile space, when that's all agreed and they want premium content, they can come to the likes of BBC Worldwide. And so it's interesting just to see how things are developing and the debate around how slow things are developing, and yet with our remit at BBC Worldwide to look at the whole of the continent of Africa, how fast things are happening in other parts of Africa. So yeah, it was interesting just to get a perspective of the debate and to see exactly how things are moving. And it's very interesting, you know, we're in a continent where people have great expectation, people demand quality service, quality content, they want access to an international perspective, and it feels really, you know, it's a real challenge to be able to give them that when they just don't have access to broadband. So BBC Worldwide, it's the commercial arm of BBC. Our role is to, we've got three ultimate pillars. Our first pillar is to deliver our brands, our global brands to the world. Our second pillar is to deliver premium content globally. And our third pillar is digital innovation. So that's our mission in Africa, as it is across every other part of the world. We opened the office here a year ago, 18 months ago, and we have a very big channels business here. If you flick on DSTV, you'll be able to watch BBC channels, BBC First, BBC Brit, BBC Lifestyle, CBBS, World News, and BBC Earth. That's a big part of our mission here in Africa, to grow that audience across the whole continent. On top of that, because we have 50,000 hours of content in our catalogue, we talk to other broadcasters, other content people, content aggregators, and people that are interested in content. So Top Gear, we sell Top Gear to free-to-airs across Africa. We produce a local Strictly here. We produce a local Bake Off here. If it's got a BBC DNA, our mission is to make sure that we can either deliver the international version to African audiences, or we tweak it and make a local one. So it's interesting, connectivity, because 2 years ago when we had a restructure and we started to look at regional businesses, which is why I've got the role I have. Our TV sales business was predominantly to free-to-airs. Fast forward 2 years, digital is our number one client. So if you look at BBC's biggest customer, Netflix, globally, that's now true in South Africa, Showmax. There are new players coming out all the time, and so they look to BBC as a must-have in terms of content, because they know that the audience is there. There's a great resonance with international content, particularly BBC content, through its affinity, through its international perspective, through its premiumness, through its quality. All of those things mean that we've got a great customer base, and it's growing. And so to answer your question, it's a paradox, you know. There's a sort of, people talk about how slow connectivity here, the speed of broadband, but essentially it's now becoming a really important part of our business. I would just caveat that by saying we haven't talked about cost. So, albeit we are delivering content to a digital customer, they are only targeting quite a niche affluent audience. For us, our biggest partner would be, as no surprise to anybody, is MultiChoice, and it's a very successful relationship. We're very happy with that. However, we've got channels, content, and formats and British IP that we think we can exploit across Africa, because we know the audience is there just from our own research. So for us, it's really important that we start, as we're an office which is only a year old, that we start making those connections. BBC has got Britishness in its DNA, but as an organisation, we're truly global. And so for us, it's really important that we make sure that we're making the right connections, having the right conversations and partners right at this very early stage of Africa's sort of digital sort of innovation and expansion. It's really important we start making those connections now, because I think we've got a lot to offer, and I think people look to BBC because of its heritage here in Africa as well, as a partner which not only offers credibility but also offers something that can help people upskill and develop staff and really make an impact on the continent.